want to show you my method of cutting fret slots, and I think it's pretty simple. You do need a few specialty tools, but it's nothing that's unobtainable. I used to use a radial arm saw, and it didn't quite have the power to turn the smaller StewMac blade that I'm about to show you, so I did change to a sliding miter saw, and I think it works just as well. So the first thing that you'll need, and I got mine from StewMac, is a fret cutting blade. Like I said, I had this on a radial saw. I've seen people use it on a table saw. I'm gonna put it on a sliding miter saw. It's been milled down. You can see on the edge here, it's been milled down to fret width. Otherwise, it's the saw itself would have been too thick. 5/8 inch arbor, and it's a 6-inch blade. So on the radial arm saw, going down to a 6-inch blade, it really didn't have the weight to like keep driving through the wood. On this newer sliding miter saw, I think the motor is just stronger, so it can kind of push through that smaller blade. So you need one of these, and then I use, again, StewMac, just because of the quality, honestly. You'll see it's got slots here to register on a pin, which the next piece I'm going to show you I made, but this is a table to go on the sliding miter saw specifically for fretting. And it's just a nice, perfectly flat surface here. And then this is a piece of mahogany that the guide can just reference. But I'll come in a little bit closer here and you'll see that there is a pin. And that pin references a slot on your guide. So as you go, kind of locks in and you can cut that next fret. Those are really all you need. And then your saw of choice. Of course, mine is a very beginner sliding miter saw. I had to make this because going from a 10-inch, I'll have to change it out. That's a 10-inch blade. If you put a 6-inch on there, it won't even go down, you know, to where it might cut it, but you know, to do any sort of depth adjustment, I think it's just not gonna work. So I built this table to raise your material surface up, so you can actually dial in the depth that you want with a smaller blade. And then it allows me to have, you know, different surfaces and the pin. I don't know how I would do that on just the stock default setup. First, we have to plane this down. This is just, I guess you can consider it rough. I mean, it's not really rough stock. It's been cut, but it's quite rough. So we're gonna send it through the planer, and then we can kind of prep it to start cutting some frets. So let's do that. This is pretty good. I plane this down to 1/4 inch. That's usually kind of my base for prepping fretboards. The last thing I need to do is tape it on here with some double-sided tape. nice and, you know, I'll just reference my jig, tape it on like that, or just as long as, you know, if you have your own method to ensure that it's straight, parallel with your guide, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then I have to put the fret saw blade on the saw. So I'll do that, and then I'll cut it. Cutting is really the easy part. Prep probably takes longer. If you're doing this on your saw and you've never taken the blade off before, typically this nut or this bolt that holds it on is reverse thread, so it's righty loosey, lefty tighty. I'm just setting the depth on the saw. And we're ready to make our cut. So I set the depth. There's a depth stop here, so I can cut, you know, kind of like almost like a dado for a fret, and it won't go all the way through. And there you have it. This last one won't be a fret, that'll get cut off. Same with the very first one, that's not a fret, that'll get cut off. That's the beginning and the end of the board. You are now ready to do, you know, if you want to do inlays or pearl dots or whatever, but yeah. Just doing a quick check. If you set up your miter saw, you got no problems. 90 degrees. 90 degrees. 90 degrees. No issues. Total time is probably like 15 minutes. Total cutting time is like probably less than 5. This is a method that's worked out well for me. Not that much in tools. The blade and the guide are probably going to be just as expensive as the saw, but once you have it, unlimited fretboards. That's all for this video. Thank you.